Who won the Europa League and the Champions League, but more importantly, who got promoted in the Super Leagues? Hello everyone and welcome to the What If League. Today we're doing episode 18 of the new series Super Leagues, and if you haven't seen the previous videos, please make sure to do so in my channel, or also you can see the links to the videos in the description below. Especially important is to see episode number 1, where I explain the concept of the series, which teams participate and the overall rules of this idea. In this episode, we are now 3 weeks ahead. In the previous episode, we ended on the 13th of May. Now is the 3rd of June, which means that both European competition finals have been played in the Europa League and the Champions League, as well as the playoffs in Super Leagues 2, 3, 4, and 5. First, I'm going to begin with the playoffs, and in the end, we are also going to check out what happened in Europe this season. As a reminder, Real Madrid won the highest division here, Super League 1, where they managed to lead almost all of the season. They finished with 73 points, 2 more than second place Manchester United, while in the bottom of the table, Porto, Benfica and Roma got relegated. So 2 of the Portuguese teams and the Italian Roma unfortunately could not keep their place in Super League 1. Now let's see what happened in Super League 2. In Super League 2, Monaco were champions quite categorically with 77 points, which was 9 more than second place Lyon, and that meant that the other teams, Lyon, Valencia, Santos and Lazio, are going to challenge in the playoffs. So let's see what happened there. In the playoffs, in the first leg of the playoffs, Cruzeiro drew at home with Valencia 3-3, a very interesting game, while Lazio beat at home Santos, and they got a very good advantage until the second leg of the playoff semi-finals. In the second leg, Santos won at home against Lazio, but that was not enough. On aggregate, Lazio qualified for the final, while Valencia drew with Cruzeiro 1-1, and then they had to eliminate them on penalties. In the final game, Lazio lost to Valencia. Valencia won 2-0 in that game in the final of the playoffs with goals from Santi Mina and Carlos Soler. So this was what was required from the Valencia team to qualify for Super League 1. We can also see that in this division the relegated teams were Grêmio, Corinthians and Ajax, so they will be competing in Super League 3 in the next season. Now next in the list is the 3rd division, and let's see what happened there. Super League 3 was won by Hoffenheim with 74 points, 4 more than Marseille. And there is already a spoiler on the screen, but there's nothing I can do about that. So let's see what happened in the playoffs. In the playoff semi-final first leg, Real Sociedad were pitted against Leverkusen and they lost at home 0-2. So Leverkusen got a very comfortable cushion for the second leg, while Schalke defeated their compatriots Borussia Mönchengladbach in the other semi-final first leg. In the second legs, we see that Borussia Mönchengladbach won against Schalke, but that was not enough since Schalke beat them 2-0 in the first game and qualified on aggregate, while Leverkusen lost at home to Real Sociedad, but again because of their bigger win in the first leg, they qualified for that final as well. And in the final, Schalke beat Leverkusen comfortably 2-0, qualifying for Super League 2, where they're going to compete next season. Goals scored by Thilo Kehrer and Fabian Riese. In this division, the relegated teams were Feyenoord, Chivas and Cruz Azul, and unfortunately for them, they're going to have to compete in Super League 4 from the next season. Speaking of Super League 4, the champions there were Real Betis with 73 points, while the relegated teams were Anderlecht, Red Bull Salzburg and Pumas, so the last 3 are going to be part of Super League 5 from the next season. Now let's see what happened in the playoffs here. In the semi-final first leg, Espanyol beat Tigres 2-1 at home, while Spartak Moscow lost at home to Newcastle 0-3. So Newcastle got a very big advantage for the next game. In the semi-final second leg, Newcastle lost at home to Spartak Moscow 1-3, but this was sufficient for them to qualify after scoring that 1 goal. And on aggregate, they managed to eliminate the Russian team. While Tigres drew at home with Espanyol, which meant that Espanyol qualified for the final. And in the final playoff, Espanyol lost at home. This time here, the playoffs are in 2 legs, as you can see. Espanyol lost at home to Newcastle 1-2, but then won the second leg on 1-0, but on penalties managed to eliminate the English team. In the penalties, we can see that the missed penalties was missed by Atsu. So this is very unfortunate for the Magpies, but it is what it is, and Espanyol are going to qualify for Super League 3 in the next season. In the lowest Super League 5, champions were West Ham with 72 points, 2 more than second place Sampdoria, and there are no relegated teams in this division, so let's see what happened in the playoffs. Club Brugge lost at home to Genoa 2-3 in the first leg, while Stoke defeated Malaga 2-1. Then in the return legs, Genoa lost at home to Club Brugge, which meant that the Belgian team qualified for the final, while Malaga and Stoke drew 1-1, and Stoke were the other finalists. This final here in Super League 5 is also in 2 legs, and in the first leg Stoke won against Bruges 2-1, while in the return leg is yet to be played later today, which we are going to see in a second. Now the second leg has also been played, and let me show you what happened there. Club Brugge lost 1-2 against Stoke another time, which meant that Stoke is the team that qualified for Super League 4 and are going to compete there in the next season. Goals from Oliver Shenton and Thibaut Verlinden were enough to secure the win for the Potters. So congratulations to them. Now next off are the European competitions, and let's see what happened in the Europa League and Champions League. First off is the Europa League, where we see that the champions are Milan, after they beat Chelsea in the final on penalties. Milan qualified for that game after eliminating Olympique Marseille in the semi-final, Krasnodar in the quarter-final, and Turkish Fenerbahce in the second knockout round. So congratulations to the Rossoneri for their European success. And in the most prestigious competition in European football, the Champions League, although I can argue that now the Super Leagues are far superior in terms of difficulty and prestige. But anyway, this is a traditional European competition where the champions are competing, and not only them, of course. And in this edition, Manchester United were victorious after defeating Bayern Munich in the final 2-1. Manchester United also eliminated Atletico Madrid on their way on the semi-final on away goals, Barcelona in the quarterfinals, and Scottish team Celtic in the first knockout round. Finally, the job security page, where we can see which teams are looking for a new manager, and at the moment those teams are Ajax, Chivas and Mainz. We can also see which managers are currently under threat to be fired: Luis van Gaal from Roma, Pedro Martins from Corinthians, Giovanni Martusciello from Köln, Martuscello, I'm not sure how to pronounce that name, apologies if I'm butchering it, and Michel Prudhomme at Atalanta. They are the one of the managers that are very insecure, as well as Ricardo Gareca, the Chile manager, Stanislav Cherchesov, the Russian manager, George Lekens from Hungary, and Julio Cesar Falcioni from Ecuador. Let me actually see if I can remove those international managers so that we can... That's quite odd. I see that international jobs have been excluded, but somehow they remain there. Anyway, now we have them gone, and we see only the club managers that are under some threat and are concerned for their jobs. Alright, that's it for this video, guys. If you haven't seen the previous part of this experiment, check out my channel or the description below. Links will be provided there. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe for my channel if you haven't already. That way you're going to receive notifications for when I upload new videos. In the meantime, you can also check out my social media. Links will be listed in the description below. Let me know what you guys think about this experiment and the Super Leagues, and if there is something that you want me to check in specific. I would love to hear from you in the comments. Once again, thank you for watching, and until the next time when we're going to start season number 2 of the Super Leagues. Bye!